In our very first story, the minority in parliament says lack of jobs, rising cost of living, ballooning debt, total lack of confidence in the economy and the depreciating cedi are clear indications government is short of ideas to turn around the ailing economy. The minority MPP in parliament is therefore charging the ruling NDC government to get the macro fundamentals back on track. At a news conference in Accra to officially present what their version of the mid-year budget review is, the minority spokesperson on finance stated Ghana is on a downward spiral.
On Tuesday, July 21, the Minister of Finance delivered the 2015 mid-year budget review statement and economic policy and supplementary estimates on behalf of the NDC administration to Parliament. Immediately after the presentation, the minority in Parliament, led by its spokesperson on finance, Dr. Barima Osei, held a press conference and stated the economy is heading for doom. On Wednesday, July 29, the minority has again cautioned government to ensure the macro fundamentals are brought back on track. He said the current debt stock, which stood at 90 billion cedis, representing 67.53% of GDP as at May, will shoot up significantly by August.
For a nation that inherited a debt stock of 9.5 billion in January 2009, let me repeat, 9.5 billion cedis in January 2009, that is 850% of what the NDC inherited from the NPP administration. At this rate, the government is on course to increase the debt it inherited by tenfold by the end of August. This government keeps on competing with the private sector for money domestically. The effect of the crowding out of the private sector is a high interest rates that businesses have to pay for accessing credit. These loans and the issuance of the Eurobond will simply just add to the government debt and in the process overburden all Ghanaian taxpayers. With more debt servicing should be spared the agony of going the Greek way.
According to him, the IMF program, which the government has subscribed to, has rather worsened living conditions. On regulating oil prices, Dr. Barima questioned government's failure to apply the automatic adjustment formula when there is a decrease in oil prices on the world market. He contends the inconsistency is aggravating the problems of Ghanaians.
What dividend has signing onto the IMF program brought to Ghanaians? Is it the increase in the VAT rate by 2.5% or the freeze in public sector employment? As we speak, we know that every tertiary institution is complaining that there is a freeze. So the classroom sizes are getting bigger and bigger. All of them, not even once. Is it the type of educational system we want? Or the jobs-killing austerity measures? Or the tightening of monetary policy? Why did the automatic adjustment formula apply in times of crude oil price increases? With crude oil prices stable and clearly under $60 a barrel, why haven't Ghanaians benefited from real price reductions? Someone is not being truthful with the Ghanaian people.
For Joy News, Emmanuel Lante reporting.
Also, some veterans of the Ghana Armed Forces are set to march to Parliament House tomorrow over discrepancies in amounts paid to them as pensions. Though they are not sure what was originally earmarked for them by government, they believe the Ghana Armed Forces has shortchanged them. Secretary for the 1983 Intake Group, Warrant Officer Joseph Tay, along with some of his colleagues, spoke to my colleague Francis Haban.
We want to know the amount of money the Ministry of Finance released for the Ghana Armed Forces to pay us on that single spine. Because we think that the 4,000 Ghana cedis they gave us as our 80% in 20,000, that was not what the Ministry of Finance approved. And we've written the first letter, we've written the second letter, and the third letter. To whom? The first letter, I wrote it. I addressed it to the Defense Minister. I gave the Finance Ministry a copy, the CDS and the CO pay office. The second letter, I addressed it to the National Security Advisor to the President, His Excellency Baba Kamara. Then on 23rd of June, Colonel DC called me, telling me that he's been asked to work on our request, and that he's requesting me to come. And I told him I will come with the group because I'm representing the groups. He rejected that suggestion and said if I will come with the group, I shouldn't come. So from 22nd June to date, they never call us. They've given us our pension pay, but the money they gave us is not what the Ministry of Finance approved for them to give us.
What did the Finance Ministry approve?
That is what we are asking for now. Because we don't know. The thing is started in secrecy, so we cannot tell. But then judging from what our immediate seniors had, took, and then we took. No, we believe that no, there is a difference, because the 88, 89, the Ministry of Finance released 80,000 Ghana cedis plus as their 80%. That is 800 million old Ghana cedis. We were given 14,000 Ghana cedis. That is 140 old Ghana cedis.
And by that you mean the previous batch holding the same ranks as you?
Holding the same ranks. W1, 88, 89, they took 80,000 Ghana cedis. We have a copy of all the letters.
Now, apart from the issues with their pension, the veterans are unhappy with how they were treated in the service and run up to their compulsory retirement, and are calling on the 1978 to 83 intake officers who feel aggrieved to join them at Parliament House tomorrow.
They treated us as if we were criminals. All our colleagues who were even due to on operations, they issued a directive that they should be dropped from the operation. I was affected. For tomorrow, we've sent a message to all our colleagues, because tomorrow we gave the Parliament, what do you call it? Speaker of Parliament. We gave him a letter yesterday, and then the chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Defence and Interior, we gave them a copy yesterday. So we've decided that tomorrow we will go there to meet them personally. So we are informing all our colleagues from the 78 to the 83-year group, 78, 79, 82, 83, and even the 77-year group who also are claiming that they are affected, all of us to converge at Parliament House tomorrow.
If all else fails in dialogue, what will happen?
Master, we have a lot of options.
Which are what?
I will not tell you now. For now, I hold my peace. Yes, I won't preempt. I will not preempt, but I'm saying we have a lot of options. We have nothing against anybody, because we believe the government has released the money for the Ghana Armed Forces to pay us. All we are demanding is that it's our pay, our money.
Meanwhile, the Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Interior will deliberate on anomalies in the payment of the ex-servicemen's pensions. Minority spokesperson on the committee, Major Retired Derek Odro, said although there is a formula for calculating pensions due ex-servicemen, the committee has received the petition and will address any anomalies they identify. He, however, hinted it is normal for persons in the same rank to receive more in pensions depending on how long they have served in the armed forces. Who are speaking on the pulse?
When I see their petition and what they are claiming, then I'll be in a better position to appreciate what they say. But what I know is that there's formula. There's formula, and it's not the question of a sergeant will take the same pay as a staff sergeant.
They said they mentioned that people are the same level with them are receiving or have received much more than they did.
Yeah, and then there's supposed to be an anomaly somewhere.
Okay.
So until we see, we have the formula of working it. So depend upon the rank, and you are WO at which, how many years in that WO rank, if you get higher than the WO first year will get. So it's not the same.
The loans were deducted with interest from their pensions. Is that also typical?
Yeah, it's normal.
Okay.
If you go and contract a loan, you pick a form from the bank, and at the end of the day, you feel there's an agreement there that when you are going out of the service, the employer should notify the banker.
Now, the Ghana Armed Forces is yet to respond to the issue. We understand they will only respond when details of the petition to Parliament are made known to them. Elsewhere, the National Labour Commission has opened talks with aggrieved workers of pharmaceutical firm Starwing and its new owners, Danet. The talks are meant to resolve a clash between the two following the recent acquisition by Danet of a majority stake in Starwing. The new owners have since the takeover locked out the workers, who have also resolved to picketing outside the company. The workers, numbering about 100, are said to also hold daily prayer sessions to seek divine intervention in the matter. Fred Smith chanced on one such session and spoke to chairman of the Workers' Union, Connie Terrier.
But this happened on Thursday. Yes. The place was locked, so you've been holding prayer sessions here all along?
Yes, every day we come here to have this session, and then we just give more grease to their elbows that the case is in court. But we don't understand why Ghanaians is forcing his way through. Even there's a court case today. We went there today, and it has been adjourned to 11th August. All these court cases are around, but Ghanaians is behaving as if he's not on this land. No rule is governing Ghanaians. That is what is happening.
Well, beyond the court cases, what is being done to resolve this crisis? Because the workers can't continue to be in this situation.
Yeah, we want the public to know about all these things. We want the public to know about it, and that is why we are granting you audience. We want the public to know about it, and now we are also trying to get an order from the court to eject them out, because those people in there are macho men and langas.
Where are they?
They are in there. They are in there. He doesn't have personal securities there, and we are.
You mean Danex has brought macho men and langas?
Macho men, yes. First they brought policemen. At first they brought policemen, and when the policemen managed to break into the system and get our security men out, then they brought macho men before the policemen left. You see, so
as we speak, there are macho men here.
Yeah, there are macho men. There are macho men in there.
I see. Why did you attempt to enter the facility and they prevented you?
Yeah. When you come, they will not allow you to enter. They locked up the main gate with a chain and then a padlock, and they've locked other offices too with padlocks. So even if
is there production going on in there?
No, there's no production. They have stopped. We have stopped production.
For how long would you continue to sing and pray here?
We are not relenting. We are not relenting. We will continue to push the media to put it on air, on telecastings, and then we will continue to push at the courts and then Labour Commission, and then see the way through. Because if you say you have acquired it and you are even taking over, and if I'm not interested to work with you, then you have to pay me off before you take over. You can't just come and then lock up the place. So that is what we are doing now.
Well, the National Labour Commission had a hearing on Wednesday afternoon between ICU, Danex Pharmaceuticals and Starwin Products Limited has ruled the lockout of staff of Starwin Products Limited since last Thursday as illegal. According to the National Labour Acts 159 and 106, a 7-day notice is required before such an action is taken. The Labour Commission ruled the company remains closed till August 31 to allow the ongoing court case between the two pharmaceutical companies to run its full course.
The ruling of the Commission is that 1, the lockout was illegal. 2, because the company is embroiled in a legal suit, they will advise, or they are advising that the company remains closed down for up to 31st of August 2015. During the period, all salaries, allowances due to staff must be paid. Now we are supposed to come back on the 2nd of September, after which further directives will be given.
Now, while the ICU accepted the first ruling of the Commission, it was dissatisfied with the second ruling, which stated that the factory remains closed. Deputy Secretary General in charge of operations Morgan Ayawene, who represented the ICU at the hearing, opined the Commission should have ruled that the company be open for the workers to resume work since the lockout was illegal.
We raised issues concerning the inability of the Commission to order management to reopen the factory, because if something is illegal, you don't leave it to continue as an illegality. You order the person perpetuating the illegality to go and rectify the situation, but that has not been done. So we raised issues about that. We also added that on the question of representation, those who came to the meeting today are not the true representatives of Starwin management, but rather they are representatives of Danex. And as at now, the process of merger is still going on. Danex have not taken over. So this particular ruling with regard to the second aspect, which says that they are unable to order management to reopen the factory, may have some technical and legal challenges. We have raised those concerns. We have no problem with the first aspect of the Commission's ruling, which says that it is an illegality for management to have locked out the place without due process. But we have serious concerns about the Commission's inability to order management to reopen the factory.
This is Joy News Prime, and still to come. Ghana Medical Association announces withdrawal of outpatient services in what will be the first phase of a full-blown strike over government's failure to finalize their conditions of service. Meanwhile, government says it has released more than 500,000 cedis to settle salaries of junior doctors which have been outstanding for 11 months. Stay tuned. Northern Regional Minister Alhaji Mohammed Muniru Limuna is blaming the media for misinterpreting his recent comments, which seem to have angered the family of the late overlord of Dagbon, Yana Yakubu Andani II. The minister is said to have announced at Eid prayers recently that government intended to perform a joint funeral for the two Dagbon kings, Yana Yakubu Andani and Yana Muhammadu Abdullah, in November this year. Children of the Yana Yakubu Andani II reacted strongly to the comments, accusing the minister of undermining Dagbon traditions and usurping the role of the most senior member of the clan. But at the news conference in Tamale, Alhaji Limuna denied ever making the announcement.
I haven't announced any timetable for the funeral rites of the late Yana anywhere in any part of this country. If you take the press release, it is said they got that publication from Ghana Web, attributing to me. I want to ignore that press release because I have a very good working relationship with the Andani family and with the children of the late Yana Yakubu Andani II. Some said they picked my statement from the Salah Day. Others said they picked my exclusive interview with City FM. I want to tell you that what I said at the Eid Day was very specific. I made an appeal to our religious leaders, the imams, to support government in prayer so that we can get the issue of Dagbon come to an end. And I specifically told them in Dagbani that my father says when they say you are handsome or beautiful, does not mean that you don't bath and dress properly. It is when you bath and dress that the beauty or the handsomeness is shown. So we are committed to the cause of Dagbon, and that we are asking them to continue praying for us. And that it is our wish as government that we hope and pray that the issue of Dagbon in respect to the funerals would have been brought to a close by November.
Now, the explanation by the minister, however, did very little to satisfy the family of the late Yana Yakubu Andani II. Representative of the children told Joy News only an unqualified apology from the regional minister will ease their anger.
Certified yet. For us to be certified, he has to render an unqualified apology to the governor, who is in charge of the tradition and custom of Dagbon, as well as the regent of Dagbon. But he did say that he has a very good relationship with you, the children, and that if there's anything like that, maybe you should have, you know how we do our things here in Ghana. We like to, speak among ourselves as family members or family friends. That he was expecting some kind of approach like that. My sister, I'm not cutting you short. When he was going to make that statement, he never consulted us. So why should we go and consult him before coming out with our press release?
Police in Kaswa in the Central Region will this Thursday arraign a 41-year-old man accused of murdering the mother of his children. Rita Kwevi, with whom Yao Wongpo has 2 children, was found dead in the couple's home last Sunday. There had been earlier reports the suspect is a pastor of the International Central Gospel Church, but this has been denied. Derek Akosam has more.
The crime officer in charge of the Kaswa Police, DSP Samuel Na Musa, said they were informed by a neighbor who said he had sighted the lifeless body of Rita in the couple's home on Sunday, July 26. He said the police had to break into the apartment to retrieve the corpse.
They've been staying together for about 9 years. But for some marital problems, the woman has been pressing the man to go and perform the customary rites. And the man has been dragging the feet. So for about a year now, the parents, the father and the brothers of the siblings of the girl came for her at Kaswa, that from Rock City, sent her to Accra. Once a while, she paid visit to the husband because they have 2 kids, 9 and 7 years, who are living with the man. So on 25th, she once again paid a visit to the man at about 12 p.m.
The bloodstains could still be seen days after the incident. The children of the couple are said to be in Benin at the moment, having been sent there by their father to be with relatives. The couple were said to be members of the Old Timers branch of the International Central Gospel Church, with some reports suggesting Yao was a pastor. The resident pastor, David Paha, however, said the suspect was only an usher.
The member has gone through the membership class, so he has been certificated as he being a member of the church. I mean, that is the only thing I can say. And apart from that, he used to be part of the ushering department, but he stopped. For some time now, he stopped.
The neighbors of the couple, meanwhile, tell Joy News they are still in shock over Rita's death and the possibility that she may have been murdered by the husband.
He always preaches the gospel of Christ to us. He always cooks for his children. He's been telling me to follow him to church. He's a good man. He's not a womanizer.
His wife left him a couple of years ago, but she visits him and spends some days with him. The last time I saw him was on Thursday before the incident. He's not a bad man.
Checks by Joy News also revealed the father of the deceased had earlier warned her to stay away from the suspect.
Now, the Ghana Medical Association has announced the withdrawal of outpatient services in the first phase of what would be a full-blown strike over government's failure to finalize the conditions of service. Matilda Wamega joins me in the studio. She's been following the story and she has more on it. So this announcement came after a meeting between the finance minister, the employment and labor relations minister,
and then the health minister.
And the health minister, as well as the doctors. So what transpired?
Yes, the meeting started at about 4 p.m. this evening, and then it dragged on for a while. Sometimes you realize that the doctors come down and then they rush back into the meeting.
So there's a lot of back and forth.
Back and forth. The finance minister also comes down and then he goes back inside. So we're really wondering what would be the outcome of this meeting, and then that was when at about 7:45 that was when the meeting ended.
Okay, so this meeting was supposed to be what, finalizing negotiations on their service conditions?
It was supposed to be signing of the conditions of service.
So they've settled it and they're supposed to sign it.
They've settled it and they're supposed to sign. Signing means the GMA has agreed to has accepted negotiations which have been done so far. But this is what the GMA is telling me, that throughout this period they've been able to meet the minister twice. That is from the June deadline they gave the ministry. So they met twice. So negotiations along the way didn't really sail through as they were expecting. So today was to finalize everything, and then the doctors append their signatures to it for them to then have their conditions of service. But this is what was unable to take place today. So the doctors are saying that I earlier spoke with the Minister of Employment, Haruna Idrisu, who told me that negotiations were going on well and that he was optimistic that the doctors were not going to carry out their threat to resign en masse. So Just after he spoke with me, then I met Dr. Serebo, who is the General Secretary of the GMA, who told me no, nothing has been addressed. So I've been speaking with the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Frank Serebo. Let's listen to him.
We speak technically, the GMA is on strike. What it means is that the roadmap that was designed by the General Assembly is in force. So from tomorrow, what is going to happen is that there will not be OPD services until next week.
So from tomorrow there will be...
Precisely, there will not be OPD service. Outpatient department services is completely stopped in all hospitals. Then next week we will stop emergencies. The following week we will clear the hospitals, and then we can all go home and sleep and declare ourselves unemployed.
Right, we'll be coming back to that story again. But the Employment and Labour Relations Minister, Haruna Idrisu, says government has paid 64 of the junior doctors who picketed the Controller and Accountant General's Department their salaries, which they say have been outstanding for 11 months. I followed assurances last Monday. The doctors' protest, they will be paid today. Addressing journalists earlier this afternoon, Employment and Labour Relations Minister Haruna Idrisu showed a transfer advice directing the Bank of Ghana to release some 542,000 Ghana cedis for the payment of the medics.
We think that negotiations will progress into the second and probably the concluding stages. We have given in to some of their requests. Some of it we have to do further financial implication analysis. So we trust that as true to the calling of their profession, they will continue to render services.
Right, so that was actually the wrong answer. This was the minister telling you that he was optimistic that they were not going to, go on the strike. But then the doctors, as we heard the spokesperson say that indeed they're starting the strike. Technically, they've declared a strike. But let's stay with let's come back to the issue of the junior doctors. 64 of them, the minister said, have been paid.
Yeah.
Now, do we have confirmation that indeed they have been paid?
Earlier, I spoke with a representative of the junior doctors, and he told me that 7 out of the number, the bigger group, have been paid. They have confirmed that the salaries have hit the accounts, but he can't confirm about
for the rest of them.
The rest of the doctors.
And for the 21 remaining 21, because 64. And I guess another 21.
So they will be, according to the minister, they will be paid in the subsequent days. I don't know exactly how they intend to roll it out, but he tells me that 64 have been paid and then 21 will be paid later.
All right, thank you very much. Matoda Omega bringing us up to speed with the doctors' strike. Technically, the Ghana Medical Association is saying that they're technically on a strike and with effect from tomorrow. Stay tuned. We have more stories coming up on the bulletins. In a bit, we'll bring you business, but before then, more than a year after residents of the Ashanti region town of Kenyasi went on a demonstration to protest the poor nature of their roads, it appears very little has changed. Though some work is being done on the roads, the residents say it is not progressing as quickly as they would have wished, complaining the situation is affecting the local economy of the area. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin reports.
It appears the reconstruction of the Kenyasi-Ebriem Road will not be concluded anytime soon. In spite of several promises by government officials to fix the roads, the assurance is yet to materialize. The pothole-ridden road is adversely affecting the lives of residents in the area, as well as commercial and private vehicle owners who ply the road. Staff and students of the Garden City University College, located along the route, have their share of the nuisance.
It is my fervent hope that the various stakeholders who care about the youth and the next generation would expedite the construction of the road, which not only facilitate easy commuting, but also generate economic growth within the catchment area of the university and the nation.
It is still unclear why the road has been left in its deplorable state.
What you want to say, I'll keep it. Just not to promise.
So I'm not going to make any promise on that. Whilst I was driving to this place, I realized the danger on the roads. And therefore, while the regional minister cannot promise because he hasn't gotten a budget for that, I would entreat him and I would support him and I would urge him to continue to make this road more travel for me.
For now, the fate of residents and other road users hangs in the balance. Mahmoud Mohammed Noordin's report for Joy News.
48 students from 2 senior high schools in the Upper West region have received 84,000 Ghana cedis to support their education. The Deputy Chief Executive for Lambusi Kani, Bon Kofi Diaka, warned beneficiaries of the Secondary Education Improvement Project to use the money for the purpose for which the project was instituted or risk losing the benefits. He expressed hope government's investment in the students will translate into better performance at the senior high school certificate examination. Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam report from PNA.
In order to increase access to senior secondary school education in underserved districts and improve quality in low-performance senior high schools in Ghana, the government, in partnership with the Ghana Education Service, has introduced the Secondary Education Improvement Project, SEP. Pina Senior High and Holy Family Senior High schools located in the Lambusi Kani district are two of the schools benefiting from the project. Several students applied for the right to benefit from the project from the two schools. However, after a vigorous selection exercise conducted from the sea of applicants, a total of 48 students, comprising 29 students from Pina Senior High School and 19 from the Holy Family Senior High schools, were approved. Headmaster of Pina Senior High School, Osman Namba, threw more light on the project.
Beneficiary students are to enjoy a cash payment of 50 Ghana cedis every 2 weeks. This amount is meant for the educational needs of the student. You can use it to purchase items such as shoes and a school bag, or for regular expenditures such as transport, lunch, etc. Parents and beneficiaries are to ensure that the money is used for its intended purpose, but not on frivolous items. For them to continue enjoying the scholarship for the 3-year duration period, they are to attain at least 80% school attendance in each academic term.
Before he handed over the money worth 84,000 Ghana cedis to the headmaster of Pina Senior High School to be given to the students, District Chief Executive for Lambusi Kani, Bon Kofi Diaka, admonished the beneficiary students to put up behaviors that will conform to the criteria of the project, or else they will be eliminated.
If you are indisciplined, if you engage yourself in a way that is contrary to the criteria, don't be surprised that your name will be eliminated. Let me also use the opportunity to tell you that this project is not only for senior high. We have done it across the district for the basic education. So use it and use it very well.
Two of the beneficiary students, Malisuon Chrysanthus and Maboba Christiana, thanked the government for instituting the project.
We are 8, and I was alone here. My father too is a farmer. He farmed at Aterubu. Even when I was about to come to school, it's my uncle who paid my fees. But now my uncle is no more. But when I went to my father, even how to get me the lorry fare from Aterubu to here, it was a difficult thing for him. Through this program, I know my challenges will solve, and I thank God for that.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Pina.
We're taking a break. We'll bring you business next.
Hello there, time now for some business report. My name is Abigail Adomako Enchi. Now, the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, is challenging the Bank of Ghana to change its approach in stabilizing the cedi. The institute believes the central bank rather needs to focus on its monetary policy role in maintaining a stable currency rather than what it considers forcing of an automatic appreciation in the value of a local currency.
The Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, is accusing the central bank of breaching its own act, Bank of Ghana Act 612, Section 27, which establishes the Monetary Policy Committee and as well sets out its roles and responsibilities. According to the IEA, the decision by the central bank to inject some $20 million into the economy daily in a bid to arrest the depreciating cedi not only smacks of an interference in the market forces, but also a blatant attempt to cheat businesses and individuals. Economist and visiting senior fellow at the IEA, Professor Edward Igate, says the central bank's action will go a long way to aggravate inflation.
The cedi is unsustainable. I mean, the current rate is unsustainable. So people are thinking that around that time, when there is more pressure, it will go back to wherever it was. So here we are emphasizing, when there is an inflow, please use it to stabilize the exchange rate. Don't use it to cause an appreciation. So that when there is more demand for an outflow, what we have as reserves can be used to meet, or you can add it in the foreign exchange market to meet the demand in the market, so that the currency does not depreciate as much as the market forces will want it to.
He's also challenging the central bank to change its approach in stabilizing the cedi.
In monetary policy, we say the goal is a stable exchange rate. The stable exchange rate will allow businesses, both exporters and importers, to plan. If you destabilize the exchange rate by causing appreciation or depreciation, excess appreciation or excess depreciation, it destabilizes market participants and therefore affects people.
We continue our build-up to Sunday's Super Clash between Giants Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko at the Accra Stadium. And the Busuma Draws head coach Jay Sapon has told Joy Sports the two Giants will escape relegation. Now, both clubs are struggling on and off the pitch, mainly due to poor management practices. Though some pundits have suggested the Giants could exit Ghana's top flight, Coach Sapon, who has managed both clubs, insists they will survive the relegation scare.
Hitherto, I mean, that was last year. You could go out there and win and come back and win at home, you know. But I think the trend is still on. But for few cases here and there that you hear that home teams are winning. But in this country, that's what happens. Getting to the end of the league table or league season, people who go outside don't get the needed result. So they make sure that when they come home, because everybody's home is his fortress. You know, everybody's home is his fortress. So when you come, I make sure that I also be, because I know that when I'm going out, I will not win the match. You know, it shouldn't be the best. You should have a league that when you go outside, you win. When you come home, you win. Like there are two great teams that have nurtured a lot of players in this country. If it were in Europe, I would say they can go into relegation and come back, but not in this country. House of Folk, we are in Africa, and in Ghana, for instance, House of Folk and Kotoko will never ever go into relegation. Coach, much by worse. By the end of the season, if they will drop, there will be, I mean, perhaps two matches, two teams behind them. They will not get the best of it, but they will still remain in the league.
Now, meanwhile, staunch Hartsburg supporter Aziz Haruna Futa is confident the Phobians will carry the day despite the loss to New Dibiasi over the weekend.
The spirit is back. I want to be sincere. I cannot.
That note, we end Joy News Prime. My name is Israel Lion. Have a good evening.
This is Joy News Prime.